Hello, everyone, and welcome to Culture of Gaming's Power Up Podcast, Episode 11. I'm your host, Taylor, and this week I'm, of course, joined by Andrew.
It's St. Patrick's Day and I'm already drunk. Woo!
Awesome. Anthony.
Yeah, I'm not too sure to say this week. It's a great day, so looking forward to a new podcast.
Yeah, and then our fourth seat this week is occupied by Mike. Say hello, Mike.
I don't even know how I even got here. But anyway, how's it going, guys?
Great. So, Mike, what do you do over here at Culture of Gaming?
Okay. Well, right now that for Culture of Gaming, I am one of the writers on the site. I do go ahead and help out with a bunch of miscellaneous random stories I could try to come up with, and I go ahead and put them out. People talk about them. Everyone has a good time. Or at least I hope they do.
Yeah. Okay. So, what is the latest piece of work on the site that you've done that people can go check out?
Okay, well, it's kind of jumped around from one to the next. I know that the couple of pieces I've done previously for the site, one of them was kind of my little wish list of Street Fighter V skin mods I would like to see made from the Overwatch characters. And then I know that recently I also talked about the God of War series for its recent changes. That,
Okay.
Everyone knows that the changes could be for the better or not, but with how drastic it is compared to the other games, I thought it was something fun that would be worthwhile to talk about.
Yeah, so let's just go over those really quick. What did you talk about in your God of War piece?
Well, for the God of War piece, let me go to take it from the top. Of course, I don't know if this would be spoilers or not, but considering that this is basically rebooting the entire series more or less, that of course, where do you go after everything has basically been screwed over basically by one guy who has basically flooded Greece, unleashed a plague, killed all life, and basically has just done everything short of just pure Armageddon.
Life seems fine.
And say what?
Life seems fine.
More or less after he stabbed himself. But anyway, it's an interesting idea to go ahead to try to, where do you go after everything's been destroyed? You go somewhere else, obviously. And the change to the Norse mythology is pretty interesting, and is a pretty fun idea to try to consider, because most people thought that if God of War was going to be returning, it would go towards like the more Egyptian style, because Egyptian gods are probably the most well-known gods out there besides the Norse. But of course, considering the Norse and what have you there, then, that was a pretty fair guess. And, it's a pretty interesting idea to go ahead to not only change the setting itself, but also the gameplay style as well. Like, so to speak, that, not to show this off almost immediately, I got a little bit purchase happy with the miscellaneous fun things I like to buy. I like to buy these things just for the heck of it. Throw it off to the side. But anyway, essentially,
Man, I was just about
the
to
axe.
ask, how heavy is that thing, man? That thing
Oh, it's foam.
dangerous, man.
It's foam. It's nothing. It's nothing too bad. But yeah. Anyway, though, speaking of the axe, though, that is one thing I have noticed to be very interesting, because God of War has always been one of those action-packed games, very fast-paced, very in-your-face about it. And when you go to look at the gameplay styles of this upcoming God of War, it does feel a little bit more slower paced, a little bit more focused on, the more heavy-hitting attacks with the axe and the shield. And, some people have looked at it, have questioned if it's going to, kind of, well, not ruin the gameplay, but just not make it as engaging. And honestly, I kind of feel like that, for what I've seen so far, it's kind of been the opposite, of course. But I like to think that it should still be God of War in the feel of it still, although that for some of the changes, it may go ahead and still make a few people a little bit uneasy, maybe.
Okay.
But again, that if you want to read the article, feel free to do so. It's not like I was saying that the upcoming changes to God of War have just completely ruined the series, far from it. But I thought, again, that since we're a month away from God of War, it might be fun to go ahead to explore it just a little bit.
Yeah. So, do you agree with the sentiment that it's it'll still be God of War, but it'll just be differently themed? Is that a decent sentiment to kind of sum it up, or would you not agree with that?
You're not going to have your, chocolate is chocolate. It may be a different kind of chocolate, but it's still going to be chocolate anyway. So,
yeah.
I mean, mind you, I like vanilla, but I also like French vanilla. But essentially, the flavor of God of War is still going to be there if you like God of War. The question is just going to be that when we get the full game, how much of God of War is it going to be? That is it going to be something that feels so entirely different, you question why is it being called God of War? Or is it going to be something where it's like, I missed you, Kratos. Let's get killing.
All right, so Anthony, Andrew, you guys excited for God of War, as we like to call it?
Yeah, it looks fantastic. So I'm definitely excited. It's been a month away or so, so bring it on. I do like the
Kratos had to get busy after he lost his other family.
True.
Yeah.
Do
I'm
we
ready
know?
for it. Let's do it.
Do we know who's the mom of that child?
No,
She's dead.
I think yeah. I think
Great.
maybe
No, trailers have shown that she's basically dead. That's the reason why Kratos apparently got back into the kid's life. So
Oh,
outside
okay.
of that, though, I don't really know much else on the story, and I'm trying to avoid as much spoilers as I can right now from it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's looking quite interesting. I've watched a couple of trailers for it, and it's got a bit of a different feel. Like it's more of an open world kind of experience where you go out and you hunt and all that stuff. It seems to be deviating a little bit from the original God of War, like recipe, I suppose. But it's going to be interesting to see what they do with it and to go away from the old Greek stuff. So it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, definitely. I'm personally, I don't want to say this game's not on my radar because I do want to see how it goes, but like it's not on my priority list to like play immediately or yet, to be quite honest. Yeah.
I got nothing in my background, so might as well just show it off.
Yeah, yeah. No, it looks cool. It looks cool.
it's the axe from God of War for any audio out there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mike.
again, the new weapon. There are no Blades of Chaos. It's only just a Leviathan axe. So.
Yeah. Mike.
Got it at Best Buy while I was reserving it, so might as well go ahead and grab it.
Yeah, Mike's got a little like axe thing hanging, not really hanging, but resting on the couch behind him, so everyone can see that. And he tossed it earlier, which was that thud that you heard. Anyway, and then
there was a thud. Sorry.
No, it's fine. It's not a big deal. And then, all right. So your other piece, Street Fighter wish list. You wanted skins from Overwatch into Street Fighter?
Okay, well, this one was kind of more of a fun little article for myself because back when Overwatch came out, and when Overwatch was, and I guess in some ways still is all the rage, that there were people that would go ahead to mod skins for random characters on Street Fighter.
Right.
And then because of course Street Fighter and Overwatch came out at about the same time, there was this one gentleman, the Jam K, I believe his name is, and he went ahead to do a good couple of mods for Overwatch characters. So like you had Birdie, who was dressed up like Roadhog, you had Soldier 76 that was for Guile, Reaper for Bison or for Nash. There was a whole bunch of random ones. And while he hasn't necessarily done any as of late, that I was just looking at, characters that recently came out alongside with, and in both Overwatch and Street Fighter V, and I thought that might be a fun little idea to try to do a wish list of 10 characters I'd like to see get skins modded in Street Fighter V. So it's some of them are kind of very straightforward. The one I put as my top pick was Doomfist as Balrog, just because I thought it was just hilarious just to go ahead and have Balrog have a giant metal fist on his right arm to go ahead and punch people with.
Yeah.
And strangely enough, not to spoil what I have planning on future articles, but I am actually, ironically enough, going to be revisiting that article again in some degree. That's if you've been following Overwatch and the kind of skins that they've added lately, that kind of more or less is your only hint there. But
The Black
it's going
Cat
to be a fun
Diva.
little article. I've been going through random sites for DeviantArt and what have you, seen a lot of great fan art suggestions of skins that people want to see. Yeah, I know DeviantArt's not the safest place to go, but overall, though, I would like to go ahead and try to revisit it again to try to, come up with more fun suggestions of what could be seen in the future. But mind you, again, it's not going to be literally the exact same article, but something to the same degree of it.
All right. Very cool. So, speaking of fighting games, we recently got the news that Geralt of Rivia, of Witcher series fame, is going to be in Soul Calibur 6. Andrew, what are your thoughts on this?
I love it, man. Soul Calibur has always done some goofy stuff with their guest characters, and this time they're actually bringing in like someone that makes a lot more sense than like Yoda or Darth Vader.
Oh, come on.
You have a problem with Ezio?
Link, come on.
Ezio, I didn't play Soul Calibur 5, so...
No, neither did I too much, but I'd like to think that Ezio did kind of fit the bill kind of closely, but as for our Witcher friend coming up here, I think he's going to be a pretty good, interesting addition to the cast for sure.
Yeah, and there's no longsword in the game, so he'll have his like kind of unique weapon to himself. So that'd be cool, and it'd be really interesting to see if they're like mixing the swords, like getting out his silver sword, for like when like say there's like a monster like Lizard Man or something, if he's fighting something like that.
People are calling for him to have the silver sword if he goes up against Nightmare. So
or like Nightmare, right? Yeah, so that'd be really cool. So Ben and Namco's been killing it with like the guest characters in Tekken, so I have like total faith in them. They can just rock us out of the park.
All right. So Anthony, what do you think of this? Do you even care at all or no? Not your cup of tea, Soul Calibur?
Well, I like I was last year I was hooked on Injustice 2, which isn't really well, it's a fighting game, but it doesn't really compare. So I'd be interested to pick it up and give it a crack. When's it supposed to be coming out?
I don't think we know yet. Yeah, I think sometime this year.
There's no date yet. All that we know is coming out sometime this year. So outside that, though, it's still blank right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll definitely pick it up. Is it 3D or?
Yeah, no, it's a 3D fighter.
Yeah, I've never played a 3D fighter before, so first time, that'd be awesome.
Well, if you want to, check out Tekken first and then hop into SoCal.
Tekken is very good.
Tekken, okay.
Yeah, well, Tekken's like a good way to get the feet wet if you want to experience it first off, and then from there, because Soul Calibur, it may not be as fast paced as Tekken in some degree.
Yeah.
But at least, if you get the whole and get the idea of Tekken down, Soul Calibur should be right up your alley from there.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'll have to check that out. I'm excited. I'm excited to see what they do with the character. Like I've played a bit of The Witcher 3, and then got rid of it till I got rid of my Xbox One. But like I like the game, and it's interesting to see what they'll do with Geralt. And as Andrew said, the 2-sword idea, that'd be absolutely awesome. For
that'd be a cool little thing.
Yeah.
I've not. Okay, well, I sunk like 26 hours into the first Witcher game back when Witcher 3 was popular, because I wanted to play the whole series, right, and whatnot, and go through that.
Yeah.
Like doing that. So like 26 hours of the course of like 3 or 4 days into it, and for whatever reason, I just stopped playing. But after that, I did go and read the Witcher books, which, by the way, the Witcher books are incredible. So even if you've played the games, I encourage you guys to go read the Witcher books. Awesome pieces of literature. And so, next question up for you guys is, what character, kind of like Geralt, would you like to see in Soul Calibur 6? Maybe on a wish list.
That's going to be a bit hard to say, because mind you that, I mean, again, I could go ahead and just point to the axe and say, there's your answer right there, maybe. But then Kratos has already been in Soul Calibur, so who knows if he would be allowed to come back in. Albeit it would be with a different playset, maybe, but that could be one thing to consider, perhaps, at least as a PlayStation exclusive.
Which one was he in?
He was in the PSP game. He was... Yeah, they didn't put him in the main series. It was only in the PSP game where he was playable.
No,
when he had to be in every fighting game, Mortal Kombat, Soul Cal.
Yeah.
I thought a little bit about this. I thought Ryu from Ninja Gaiden would be a really cool character.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
He's already, he's in Dead or Alive, and those games are, they're 3D fighters, but they're a lot different. But like bringing him over with like maybe a Kusurigama or some kind of like cool ninja weapon would be like the way to go. Sure.
Yeah.
In a similar vein of Andrew, I'd really like to see Raiden from Metal Gear Solid, although that might be a little bit weird. Given but considering that Bandai Namco is Soul Calibur 6's developer or publisher or what have you, I would really like to see Seed Ward from Dark Souls, Onion Bro.
Yep.
Onion Bro.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or Seed Meyer.
I mean, I know the Arbiter's already been in one of them. I think he was in 3 or 2.
What, the Halo Arbiter?
Yep.
Really? Okay, that's cool.
Who?
Yeah, he was in
the Arbiter from Halo.
Off Halo.
He was in Killer Instinct.
Oh, okay.
Was it Killer Instinct, was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Interesting. Well, I'd like to see him, or a kind of like a not Metroid, Samus.
Thank you. That's what gets super triggered over here.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I'd like to see Samus in it. That'd be interesting. I mean, even though she's a Nintendo character, but they might be able to do some magic and port her across. That'd be interesting to see.
What if Zelda was a girl? Anyway.
No. I kind of feel like that if Soul Calibur 6 was to go ahead and come to the Nintendo Switch, I kind of feel like that for whatever reason, they would try to grab a random Fire Emblem character and say, there he is in Soul Cal, have at it.
I feel like they would actually add Bayonetta into Soul Calibur if it came to Switch.
Well, they had Link.
That's a possibility, too.
Yeah.
Well, Link was in 2. But,
2, yeah.
I mean, Bayonetta would be cool too, but I kind of feel like that if that was the case, she would have to probably get something else besides the guns, maybe. Okay. Or if she was supposed to be in a Bandai Namco game, I'm pretty sure they would have thrown her in Tekken by now instead of Soul Cal, if that was the case.
Yeah, true.
I mean, she has the hair as a weapon. No, I'm serious. Like, that's game mechanic. It's game mechanic.
I can't disagree with that. Technically, that would work.
Yeah.
Give her fancy hairbands as her various weapons, if you want to go to call it that.
All right. All right. I like where we're going with that. Anyway, so next piece of news for today is Skyrim is getting Steam VR support. Slightly related news. This is like the 8th or 9th time you can buy Skyrim.
And like the 4th time you can buy it in VR.
Yeah.
Well,
Really?
if anything else, I'll be happy to see Skyrim at E3 yet again. It'll be like, what, the 4th or 5th time we've seen it?
Yeah.
I'm starting to lose
Well, I mean,
count
okay,
right
so
now.
Skyrim was first shown off at the Game Awards.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think it was at like the 2010 Game Awards.
I think so, yeah.
I remember.
It's like they.
Yeah. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
sorry, go on, Taylor.
No, I remember it's like that event because like they had that cool little like choir doing the theme, and then you had Todd Howard emerge from the choir, trying to take off his hood, and we got the preview trailer. Anyway.
Yeah, all
It's
the
like
good developers show up with an orchestra behind their backs, just look at Miyamoto.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like they're trying to cover over to stop making, Elder Scrolls 6. They're trying to keep patching Skyrim to try and keep people happy.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's... Wow, I can't believe it. 6 times. Or 7 times.
It's a lot. I don't know what
Trying to figure out the actual count here. All right, so we got... You could have bought it when it first came out, so that's 1. That would have been for older gen consoles. You could have...
2013.
Yeah, you could have bought the Legendary Edition. So that was... Yeah.
2, yep.
That was 2. And then, of course, we have the remastered. Okay, and then we had the remastered, and then we got the PSVR.
Mm-hmm.
And we got the Switch. And now we have Steam VR. So we're up to 6.
Yeah.
This is the 6th time you can buy Skyrim.
Yeah.
That's incredible. So, okay.
Reverse psychology right there.
I know. Anthony, we do know that or it's like you did kind of bring this on a little bit, how it kind of seems like they're just kind of biding their time, trying to stall until either Elder Scrolls 6 or Fallout 5 comes out. Most likely Elder Scrolls 6 first. But one thing that we do know is that they are working on new engines for both Fallout and to use for both Fallout and Skyrim. And apparently there are 2 new unannounced IPs that they're working on also before doing a lot of heavy work on Elder Scrolls 6. So,
what's that? Wolfenstein and something else.
No,
probably
I think
another Wolfenstein they'll probably do.
The Evil Within 3, maybe? I mean, it might be too soon to go ahead and announce that one, probably, but...
Wait, Bethesda did Evil Within?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I did not know that.
Yeah, the only way I found that out was when I saw the trailer for Evil Within 2. But,
Okay.
Yeah. Didn't know about that one either, all bits.
Yeah.
Tango Game Works with Bethesda.
Yeah.
That's good. That's like a little game if you haven't played that yet.
All right. So, will you guys be buying Skyrim for the 6th time?
No.
Nope.
I don't even think I bought it the first time, let alone the 5 other times.
Okay.
I bought it.
Fair
I
enough.
bought it on the Xbox 360, I believe, the Xbox One, and the PC. So
Yeah.
Nice.
3 times.
Let's
And
see.
each time I still haven't finished it. So.
Okay.
Yeah, I played Oblivion, and I went ahead to play and finish that one. I tried to get into Skyrim, but there was so many things in there, I got too overwhelmed and had to call it quits because I had no idea what the hell I was doing by that point.
I
There's
just
too
didn't.
much good stuff.
I never really got into it. Like, I loved Oblivion and finished that quite easily, and was like, the time flies while you're playing that, and it's like, oh no, it's already finished. Then you get halfway through Skyrim, and it's like, nah, you can go back in the cupboard.
Yeah. I will say I did get into it quite a bit, to be honest.
Yeah.
I had it on Xbox when it first came out, and then when I built my PC, that was like the only game I had for my PC for a while was Skyrim. And then
Did you play Oblivion?
Yeah, I did. I played
Okay,
Oblivion.
good.
I enjoyed Oblivion a lot. Anyway, so yeah, I probably have spent more time modding Skyrim on PC than I have actually playing the game. So there's that. But yeah, and then didn't technically buy the special edition because that was given. So yeah, and so I bought it like 3 times. Yeah, or no, twice technically, twice. Yeah. Anyway. So, let's see. Next news topic is we talked about, this was either last week or 2 weeks ago, I forget when exactly, but we talked about Fortnite was getting a mobile app. And so, the latest news with that is it has officially entered a sort of halfway open beta, which means although you still need to get like selected for the beta program, they're being super duper open for it, or it's super duper lenient with requirements. so it's not very hard to get into at all. Like I've played maybe 15 hours of that game. I got a beta invite, and so yeah.
So they're kind of following suit with PUBG a bit.
Yeah, and
I
so
don't know. It seems to be at this point, Fortnite seems to be pulling off the formula much better than PUBG at this point. It seems.
Yeah.
They're different games.
Oh yeah, different games, of course, but you know, through one weird circumstance or another, Fortnite has been building up way too much steam as of late. I mean, just look at Twitch and see which is the most viewed game, and I think that I've seen a few times that Fortnite has doubled PUBG a couple of times there.
Yeah, no, it definitely like see what you're saying, but I mean, there's definitely a lot of things going for it. First of all, it's very polished. They update all the time, and it's free to play. So it's got like these three huge things that are just all working for it. Whereas PUBG is
if you consider the PlayStation 4.
Yeah. I mean, there's the PlayStation version and the Xbox version, right? So
yeah,
it's all free. So
speaking of PlayStation and Xbox and everything, we with the whole mobile game stuff and whatnot, we got cross-platform stuff across all platforms. So which means anyone can play with anyone on any platform for Fortnite, which is kind of cool. I had a buddy.
Can you do Xbox and PS4?
Yeah, you can.
Oh, you can? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Cool.
Yeah, I didn't hear that one yet.
Perfect.
Stepping up.
I
Good
know.
job.
So anyway, yeah, one of my buddies was playing Fortnite on his phone the other night with another one of my buddies. Yeah.
Have you guys touched that at all?
I have not. No, I
saw some videos of it. It looks real cumbersome, but
okay. He said that it's like the person who was playing on the phone said it ran really, really well, but of course, like, and it doesn't control half bad, especially for being like the phone shooting controls, but it does put you at a serious disadvantage.
Well, luckily you have to opt in to play against anyone not on the phone. So
okay.
So you're not thrown in the PC server unless you're like throwing me in the PC server, which and then you will die very quickly, I'm sure.
Okay. Yeah. So and then also other Fortnite news, I guess. Drake, was it the rapper or was it Drake Bell?
Drake the rapper.
Okay, Drake the rapper was playing with some apparently popular Twitch streamer named Ninja.
Yeah. So
okay.
These guys, I think what I've heard is not sponsored or anything, just kind of an impromptu thing because Fortnite's so big, like with tons of athletes and people on the go all the time because it's just a free game and it's easy to pick up and go, right? So I guess they got together and they hit they destroyed their current viewership with like 600,000 concurrent viewers.
Jesus. Okay.
Yeah. So
that's one way to put Twitch in the spotlight.
Yeah, and social media was blowing up, and they got some professional football players to play on stream with them as well.
Really?
It was like a whole thing. Yeah. And soon after that, I think the next day they announced that they're going to be doing like a pro/amateur like tournament. So
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough.
Interesting.
We'll see. Yeah, I watched a bit of the stream, and I can tell you that Ninja is extremely good at that game.
Okay.
That it's scary. Like he's like, I think Drake died like 15 minutes in, like 5 minutes in, and then he just carried the team for like himself.
Just like his latest album, it died 5 minutes in. Ooh, I'm joking. I actually haven't listened to like a Drake album before, like front to back or anything. Anyway, so I remember when this was happening. My friends who are super into Fortnite were into it. I was just kind of doing whatever I was doing at the time, so I was talking to them. But no, I was. I'll get to that later. But
hell no.
Yeah, but yeah. So yeah, they were really they were talking about it as I was streaming. It's like they seemed like they were having a good time with it. So
yeah,
good for them.
I think it's a cool thing for sure. I mean, it doesn't hurt anybody. It's getting the spotlight on gaming, which is always cool, and the spotlight on Twitch, which is even better. So yeah, good stuff.
Yeah. All right. So
I don't know about that. I'm not into Fortnite, so.
Yeah.
I was playing Fortnite before they went Battle Royale.
Really?
Okay.
Really?
Yeah, I actually opted into the early beta. I thought that the early premise of the game was interesting, but as soon as I went around Battle Royale, that was more or less around the time when I hopped out. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, the PvE, I enjoyed it. For what it was worth, but I didn't really get into the Battle Royale for either PUBG or Fortnite, so I wouldn't know.
Yeah,
fair enough.
I remember when Fortnite was first announced at E3 years ago.
It was like 2010 or something.
Yeah, like years ago. I remember just like I don't want to say I was a fanboy, but I used to like follow Cliff Bleszinski pretty hard. So
Yeah.
yeah, and so I remember him at E3 talking about it and everything. Anyway,
Yes.
huh?
Crazy. It's just crazy how like kind of a big of a joke that game was. Like even like a year ago, you're like, what is this game? Is this game ever coming out? All
Yeah.
this, you know, like what's happening? And then it's just
All of a
the
sudden,
biggest game ever.
hey guys, it's out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey.
Exactly. It just limped out, and now
Yeah.
it's insane.
Yeah, and it's like it's taking over PUBG's space and whatnot. It's insane. It's insane to watch it grow.
Well, that and also we're gonna have who knows how many more battle royale games before we get towards the tail end of this year. That I know that just a short while ago there was another battle royale game that also just launched on the Xbox One as well. So
What? Oh, isn't it? Oh.
It was the one that's set in the snow setting.
It was Darwin or whatever. The Darwin Project.
Yeah, the E3 one where the guy was just yelling at you randomly, and you question what the hell was going on from start to finish.
Yeah, one of our media guys, forget who, over at COG did a little bit of a walkthrough of a game of the Darwin Project. Bryson? Yeah, that was him. That was him.
Yeah.
So that's a very interesting video. You can go on to youtube.com/cultureofgaming to check out that video. Anyway, Battlefront 2 and EA. So, Battlefront 2, microtransactions are back. The in-game store has been restored, and there are no loot boxes, only cosmetic items they can buy straight.
Oh, well,
just
that's
straight up.
decent.
That's
Just start.
Yeah, it's okay. That's a step in the right direction, EA.
Wait, what
Have they
cosmetics
fixed the
can
gameplay?
you buy?
What's up,
I
Anthony?
choose not to say anything.
what cosmetics can you buy? Is it just like
It's just skins.
guns?
It's just skins.
Oh, like skins? They are allowing skins.
No Pink and Darth Vader though.
Yeah, no
so
Hello
sorry.
Kitty Darth Vader.
Same.
Sorry.
Yeah, jeez.
Damn.
Okay.
Okay, Anthony. And what were you gonna say, Anthony?
Have they fixed the gameplay?
No, of course not.
No, then bye. I'm not playing it.
No, like why would they?
Well, yeah, exactly.
I know. You know, it's obviously the perfect game. You know.
Exactly.
The only
of
reason why it
course.
didn't launch so well is because of this whole like.
It was all the people who didn't buy it. It's all their fault.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a great game, guys. Go play it.
Yeah.
I was
Endorsed.
so interested in so many other games. I'm sorry I didn't contribute to being able to prevent this from happening.
It's okay. It's okay. All right. So, speaking of EA, EA is also selling DLCs for their DLCs. This story goes that The Sims 4, which is also notorious for having a massive amount of DLC, I think it's like upwards of 400 if you want to buy all of it, introduced more like trees of DLC that are pretty much like dependent on you having one of the past DLCs also. And it's very specific to that content that the DLC provides. So it is, in fact, DLC for DLC.
Great. What gave them that idea?
I don't know.
Money.
Money, yeah. It's always
I wonder if like the board meeting for that went something along the lines of, all right, we know we probably can't do loot boxes, so how about we just do DLC for the DLC?
It worked in the past, apparently.
That's like perfect. I like it. Okay.
That's really confusing. So like you've got the game and then you buy the DLC,
Yeah.
which is like your season pass or whatever,
Sure.
and then you can add on to it.
You can add on to the DLC that you already have with that
Yeah.
because the DLC has
Yeah.
DLC.
I mean, free updates or whatever, sure, but oh dear, EA, I don't know.
It's like, okay, I guess the best way to exemplify it is say you spent like $5 for a Sims like nightclub themed clothing DLC or something like that. Okay.
Yeah.
Now EA is releasing more, like even more outfits in that line for nightclub like DLC or whatever.
Yeah.
But
okay.
they're behind another paywall, so you have to pay even more money. Yeah.
I don't get that.
It's like paying for a season pass just so that you can be able to buy more stuff.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's like you need to buy this for the privilege to buy this other stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Weird.
So, you know what? EA is strange. They really are.
Oh no, I'm just looking forward to what the EA press conference is going to be in June. I can't imagine it starting off with anything else other than just one guy walking out, bowing his head and saying, sorry. Or, just going South Park for like the first 2-3 minutes before it's like, now that we apologize, let's show you our new stuff you can be able to buy.
Yeah.
And then buy DLC for DLC for it.
No,
The DLC.
I guarantee you how it'll go is like, so the CEO of EA will walk out, as he always does, you know, in his sports jacket and, you know, slats and whatnot, you know, as per usual. And, like, he'll be like, he's going to announce a new mission. Mark my words on this, okay? I'm placing, like, soft speculation on here. He's going to say, EA is committed to a new mission statement. After hearing feedback from you, our players, our most beloved players, or whatever, he's going to sugarcoat it so hard, right? And then he's going to be like, new mission statement, pro-consumer practices, whatever EA's definition of that is, you know, no more loot boxes. Yeah, no more loot boxes in our game, stuff like that. And it's like more of a focus on delivering finished products that work from the start.
But if you want to be a professional player, you can go and buy this and buy that and get an edge on all the other players.
So with all that said, let's go ahead and bring out our FIFA guest for the evening and speak with him for like 5 minutes while we talk about anything that is not about the game.
And then pitch the DLC.
Yeah.
DLC and your loot box chance to be able to get the player we just interviewed. Broken stats.
Whoa.
I'm sorry. I don't want to try to hate on EA, but it's like whenever you look at them, it's like, yeah, you cannot bring up one positive thing, or if you can't find something, it gets buried under everything else that's bad.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really hard to praise EA right now.
Burnout Paradise is pretty good.
Yeah. Isn't it? Oh, isn't it Burnout Day today? Isn't it
pretty
Burnout?
good? Yesterday, yeah.
Oh, yesterday? Okay. It was yesterday. Okay. My bad. Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
Okay.
Okay.
No, Burnout was fun.
I went to the little dark side.
Have they got loot boxes?
No, it's
no, this was the time before the loot boxes.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Or the dark times before the loot boxes.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right.
Before it got to the dawn.
The console wars.
Yeah. So let's talk about another game company that has been slowly shoveling itself out of the grave it dug for them. Ubisoft. We're doing some Splinter Cell rumors, boys.
Ooh, yeah.
Amazon.
We were just talking about this last week, I think. As well.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, so Amazon put up a listing of Splinter Cell 2018. Within a few hours of people noticing, they took it down. And so, yeah, the rumor mill has officially started. So, you know, best guess right now is we're going to get a Splinter Cell announcement at E3. Or they might pull a Nintendo and be like, hey, in development. I have a feeling, and it's like the way that they need to show this off, and I really want this to happen, please Ubisoft do this, is the room needs to go completely dark, and then, you know, the iconic like Splinter Cell night vision noise, and then just the 3 dots appear in the center of the screen, and then
that's getting me excited, man. Like, Splinter Cell's really good. Like, I don't know why. I'm like, yeah, that's a really good game. I want to play some more Splinter Cell.
I'm really excited. I think we talked about last week going back to play Conviction, right? Yeah, I think that was
and Conviction. What was the one app? It was
Blacklist.
Yeah, Blacklist. Yeah,
that was good too.
That was decent. I like that.
Yeah. Well, Splinter Cell has been pretty consistent throughout that. You know, when you ask people like name a stealth game that you enjoy, they're either going to say Metal Gear or they're going to say Splinter Cell.
Yeah.
And definitely Splinter Cell has been one of those games that has done a pretty good job delivering for the most parts. You know, later on games, it's coin flip depending on who you ask. But no, I'm definitely excited to see for what this new Splinter Cell might have. And especially if you take into account that we're not only going to get Splinter Cell, but also, you know, most likely we're going to get more news on Siege. And then, of course, with the Division 2 that's apparently going to be springing up here pretty soon.
Yep.
That, you know, if you're a Tom Clancy fan, you know, I'm pretty sure that you're just gonna love this year.
It's pretty stacked. Outside of like, go ahead, Anthony.
It would be great if they did like a new Splinter Cell, but then did like a remake of the old ones.
Oh, that'd be
So then for like PC, for instance, you can't really pick them up. I don't believe for PC.
I wouldn't mind the backwards compatibility if they actually enabled that. I mean, they've already done it for a good number of Xbox games already. Why not do Splinter Cell 2 while you're at it?
Well, like, I would like to see Chaos Theory on PC. So, you know.
Those games don't.
Well, they did it for Nintendo. They did a remake for the 3DS.
Yeah.
So, why not for the rest of the consoles?
Fair
I
enough.
just think they don't hold up. Like, the stealth is not good now.
Yeah.
In the old ones?
It's way too, like, stingy, like, when you get seen and stuff, I think. And
it was the product of its time, basically.
Yeah, I don't think people will be like, oh yeah, Splinter Cell, and then play it and be like, yeah, wow, this is not.
And they brought like the conviction or like blacklist mechanics and like over to Chaos Theory and did that, and that'd be cool. But like
that would be.
Yeah, as
remastered and changed some things around.
Andrew brings up a good point. If they were to just like re-release Chaos Theory as it existed, I don't think it would go over too well. So
I didn't really play it that much apart from on the 3DS. So
yeah, so this also raises kind of an interesting question too: is to deal with an aging protagonist. I mean, Sam Fisher, he's getting pretty up there.
Yeah.
You know, like. And I know with Blacklist, one of the things that was off-putting for me, at least, was that the new voice actor for Sam Fisher kind of sounded a little bit younger.
Yeah.
It was strange, but yeah.
I feel like he looked younger in this one. He looked a little younger than he did in like a previous game.
Wasn't it?
Don't deny the power of road game, friend.
Wasn't it a prequel? Didn't they go back to the Cold War or something? Not the Cold War, but Blacklist.
Weren't you like flying around in basically a spaceship in that game?
No, it was like you had like a high altitude like command plane or whatever.
Yeah,
you conducted all your stuff from. Yeah,
like a C-130 or whatever.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't think it was a prequel, but then it's been years. So
yeah,
it's been 5 now.
True.
Yeah,
I think they should just kind of reboot it. Like, I mean, I don't know if Splinter Cell is like an established book or anything, but like, I don't know. Let's just kind of have some fun with it and restart it all, because the lore is probably very confusing. I don't know anything that actually happened in that.
Oh, it's not really confusing.
I don't think anyone's going to take offense if they decide to reboot it. I mean, look at how many times we've done it with James Bond, so I wouldn't think that anyone would take offense if suddenly we have a younger Sam Fisher or it's a retelling of a story, if you will.
It's interesting that you bring up the whole like James Bond thing, because technically all the James Bond movies are standalone, except for all the ones Daniel Craig that were in. They're like the it's like you start at Casino Royale for Daniel Craig, which great movie by the way. All the Daniel Craig ones are. I really like them, but they're not only are they the same James Bond from like movie to movie. Also, they're like the only James Bond films where they're kind of their own series with each other. And Casino Royale was technically 007's first mission.
I think there was 1 or 2 exceptions, but yeah, for the most part though, you are right.
Yeah. If there's like, I mean, there are so many of like some of the older ones. If there are exceptions, I don't quite remember them, as you brought up, Mike. But yeah, it's like in modern.
I just watch a good number of the James Bond films. I know that a few of them were connected, but for the most part, though, you are right in the sense of how they weren't really connected. Whereas Splinter Cell has always been, it's the ongoing story of one man, and after a while, you wonder if you're going to be able to keep that up, if you will. If other games don't necessarily do that, because I guess like another game we could point out, like Hitman, I don't really think that Hitman would be seen in that same kind of sense as well, in some degree. So, I mean, it could be a continuous story depending on how you look at it. But for the most part, though, it's 47 still, killing people off at random locations. But it's not like it's telling an overarching story like Splinter Cell does.
Yeah.
Or at least not in the sense of how it's been as of recent.
Yeah. So I think like a really smart way that they do to redo or reboot Splinter Cell would be is if, granted, third echelon isn't really a thing anymore, have Sam Fisher kind of head a new like fourth echelon, and then you play as like an agent that works for him. I think that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Didn't he have a daughter?
He did.
Yeah. Yeah,
you could.
I don't recall if the daughter got in the action or not. I didn't get that far into that other game.
Yeah.
Plot material right there. You could have him as like the commander and play as her.
Play as Sam Fisher. That'd be cool. Yeah, that'd be a cool little tie-in too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Entirely possible.
Yeah. So looking forward to it. So we did kind of bring this up earlier. Let's talk about more of a Ubisoft E3 because it is pretty strong. I mean, we're probably going to get this Splinter Cell game now. We will probably see Division 2, whatever they have worked up for it. We'll get some Rainbow Six news. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if they tried to bring back Rainbow Six Patriots just as a single-player experience.
It might be possible. I mean, if they want to keep promoting Siege, that's something they could consider.
Yeah, but like, Patriots would just be a pure single-player experience as opposed to.
Wasn't Patriots like story basically like homegrown terrorism? That was kind of the idea.
It was, yeah, and like we talked about stuff being products of their time and everything, and I believe we have talked about this on the show too. Is like Patriots was during the time of its development and everything, video games hadn't quite matured enough as a medium to be able to tell the story that they wanted to tell and it be okay in the mass public's eye. But now I think we're at the point where they could probably tell the story they wanted to tell and be fine.
Yeah.
Especially considering that since Patriots was announced, we've had games like Spec Ops and everything.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
true.
I definitely think they could. I don't think they will, just because like look at Far Cry 5. Like they came out like kind of like, this is gonna be dark, this is gonna be like this kind of political thing.
yeah.
And then, fast forward 6 months later, and homie is like doing backflips in a car and shooting a rocket launcher. Like, oh, it's just silly. We don't even mean, there's no political anything behind this. So
Yeah. I think they're probably less likely to do a reboot of that and more likely to do a standalone. Like they've done their multiplayer kind of game, which is still running strong.
Siege,
Yeah.
So they might jump into more of a single player option. And I think it'd be interesting if they did like a completely different premise.
sure.
Okay.
Well, I don't know. Like I said before, though, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. But if we already have 3 Tom Clancy games, I think that if they were to announce a 4th one, that definitely would be a bit of overkill. So I kind of feel like that if we are going to get a 4th Tom Clancy game, maybe next year perhaps, but yeah, this year if we're going to have the Splinter Cell, we're going to have the Division 2, and no doubt we're going to have some update on Siege that talks about like a new mode or new operators or what have you. Then yeah, I think that if there's going to be any more Tom Clancy, that's going to be determined at later dates.
That's fair.
And I really don't see the point in them with a game that's going so strong like Siege. There's no real point in taking that audience to a different game. Why not, bleed it for all it's got? And
Well,
then
they don't
kind
have a
of-
10-year plan for it, so I'm pretty sure if
Yeah.
that's the case, they're not going to suddenly diverge resources from it unless there's something was to happen
Yeah.
with Siege where it suddenly goes south again.
Right,
Exactly, yeah.
but like what it was trying to do with Patriots is like you just have it single players, it's a story
Yeah.
that people
Yeah.
experience or whatever. And
Oh no, it would be nice
come
to
back
see
to
more
multiplayer.
single-player experiences, of course, with Tom Clancy games, which is
Yeah.
why I'm all the more excited with Splinter Cell, since that
Yeah.
would be like a kind of return to that in some
Yeah.
sense.
Oh, and then also I kind of want to see a sequel to End War. Did you guys ever play that game?
Oh, yes.
That was the RTS, right?
Yeah, that was
I
so
didn't
much
get the
fun.
chance
I loved
to play
that.
one, so-
What's up, Mike?
Oh no, I didn't play that one, so I'm
Okay.
not too sure for that one specifically.
Yeah, it was an RTS as much as you'd call like console RTS and RTS.
Mm.
And so yeah, but it was a ton of fun. I wouldn't mind seeing that. I think that'd be
Yeah,
cool.
that was interesting. That was
Yeah.
actually the first RTS I ever got into.
Really?
Yep.
Okay. Fair enough.
Hmm.
So yeah, we probably won't see it, guys, but like it would be fun to see.
It's wishful thinking.
Yeah, it's wishful
I
thinking.
mean, they have that Siege like single or co-op experience. I hope they can kind of do more stuff like that, because this is a weird timed event. So I hope they can put some more effort into like maybe not single player but like co-op stuff.
Yeah, Outbreak, the Siege co-op event right now. It's it's strange that they have it time locked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
No, just ask all the Overwatch players how much they hate their time lock content.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With regard to single player, though, Siege is kind of not Siege. Division is kind of a co-op-y, single-playery kind of
True.
thing.
Yeah.
Even though it's multiplayer and mainly online, I could get away with it.
To clarify for someone in the chat, we were talking about the RTS End War that was on console. Anyway, as much as
DS, I believe.
yeah.
Anthony just plays everything on DS apparently.
Yeah, exactly.
Good lord. Yeah, as much as you can call it console RTS and RTS. Anyway, so like seriously, it's not nothing on like StarCraft or anything, man. But
I
yeah.
stay away from those because I'm
those are
pretty
so
much played on consoles
Okay. Yeah.
exclusively.
I just play Civilization. That's kind of
Yeah,
where it's
right.
at for me.
Yeah, but really fast, just to go back to what you're mentioning for Ubisoft in general. Do you think that Ubisoft is going to have as strong of a year this year as they did last year, or do you think that they went ahead to go way too hard, way too fast last year, especially after the Mario Rabbids being such of an impact that it was when it came out?
I think honestly, this year will be decent for them. It'll be decent for them, because we'll at least get what's that like pirate game or whatever they showed off.
Skull and
Skull and
Bones.
Bones.
Yeah, Skull and
Yeah,
Bones.
Skull and Bones.
We'll get that this year, and we'll probably get the Splinter Cell. And then next year we can honestly expect another. We can probably honestly expect another Assassin's Creed. We can probably expect the Division 2, and so yeah. So
yeah, well, I'm kind of hoping that when Skull and Bones comes out, that they learn their lesson from Siege and especially For Honor, which I've been able to play For Honor as of late, and I'm just thankful that games are actually playable now and don't crash every time I try to load one up. But
do people still win tournaments with exploits?
Not too sure, but I know that for For Honor, when they launched, of course, with their peer-to-peer instead of dedicated servers, that basically turned off a lot of people. And of course, recently they did go ahead to enable the dedicated servers at long last. I'm kind of hoping that when Skull and Bones comes into play, that they'll be doing that too. And especially if they're, games as a service for Ubisoft, if they're going to be doing that, hopefully, if they're dedicated to the games as a service, they are, going to take their multiplayer games and take it much more seriously than they have in the past, especially if you look at some of the Assassin's Creed Mini or multiplayer games and how kind of broken that some of those were.
So Skull and Bones was last E3, right?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
We haven't heard zero since, right?
Yeah. Ubisoft usually doesn't talk about their games unless they're about to come out, if I recall correctly.
Yeah. We pretty much did like the nice big E3 showcase, and then like everything coming out in the immediate future, more hype gets built around, but then we usually have to wait and see how.
Yeah, we didn't hear anything about Far Cry 5 until as we started to get closer to its release, so that's going to be the same with all other games that they have. That the main thing with Mario Rabbids was that because it was coming out in, I think it was September, October, or August. I don't know, but since it was like a few months away after E3, of course, that game got boosted up and hyped up as much as possible before its release, since it was right around the corner.
So Skull and Bones is about to actually go into a beta phase.
Oh, okay.
Beta phase,
really?
yeah. So you can sign up for it if you go to Ubisoft. You can jump on there and sign up for it.
Cool.
Right.
Okay.
So if you're interested in that, go and sign up. I probably will sign up for it. It seems like it seems really fun.
I'll give it a shot.
Yeah. Mike, did you happen to play the Sea of Thieves beta?
Yes, I did actually get the chance. It took me a few attempts to get in through the Insiders program, but I was able to check it out at long last. And for the most part, I did kind of enjoy it. That I know that for me to know for sure, I need to play the full version. But for the few for the 1 or 2 hours I did check it out, it was actually kind of interesting, especially when you're playing by yourself and having to go ahead and try to take care of a ship by yourself, which you could totally do with the smaller ships, but it's like, you're trying to make sure you're going forward, but you have to go downstairs to check the map. And then when you go up, you're trying to make sure you're not crashing your boat into the shore or anything. So that's lots of fun.
Yeah. All right. Just curious.
But yeah, the multiplayer, though, it was lots of fun. I didn't know how to use the sword at first. So when we were being attacked by other pirates, I just pulled out the accordion and I was playing Ride of the Valkyries for the entire time before I was finally shot in the head. That was fun.
All right. Okay.
I don't know. That just made me so happy to go ahead and do something so stupid because I wasn't doing anything outside of just annoying them.
Yeah. So all right. So Ubisoft kind of lull this year. Maybe it depends on how well. It depends on one, we even get the Splinter Cell this year, but two, how well.
I don't know. If anything else, I want to say that Ubisoft has my vote of confidence. I know that it kind of goes up and down from year to year.
Yeah.
But I want to give them the benefit of the doubt at least for this year.
Well,
but, if they decide to go ahead to throw it against the wall, then I'll just go back to hanging them again. But right now, they're in my good lights right now.
Yeah, one thing that's kind of confident towards Ubisoft is the culture for them as a company has really changed because they're no longer having to actively fight the hostile takeover, which was advocating for all these anti-consumer practices. The dude that's been running it and has gained even more control by fending off the hostile takeover has always been pretty decent dude. So
yeah,
cool.
Yeah. But definitely looking forward to see what Ubisoft has in store for us for the coming future. Far Cry 5 being the first one, at least out the gate for this year, if I recall correctly.
Yep.
Yeah.
Not sure how I'm feeling about that game quite yet, but
I'm half and half on it myself. I'm gonna rent it once it comes out.
I loved Far Cry 3. I had a hard time getting into 4 because it was pretty much 3, but in Tibet.
Yeah.
Or they didn't call it Tibet. They call it I don't know. I forget what even they called it.
It was a Tibet-like country with a name we don't recall.
Yeah. It was Far Cry 3 in Tibet, and then I never played Primal.
Nah, I didn't.
Because that was.
I played Primal.
I never. Okay. What?
Yeah, it was interesting. It was different. I mean, it was like it was completely different to 4 and 3. And I mean, you had to use all old weapons and axes and craft all your stuff and tame animals and all that stuff. But it got a bit shallow because you kind of repeat.
Yeah.
So like take over this base, take over that base, and the way it worked was you had to take over certain areas in order to grow your kind of village and get more people in your village and and like progress kind of thing. So it got a bit repetitive pretty quickly, which is the only criticism I really had. But it was a pretty decent game.
All right, fair enough. I think I kind of glanced it over because the PC port of it was atrocious. So
I played it on Xbox.
Just auto skipped. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just auto skip. Oh, okay, whatever. All right, so next topic. Remember a few years back, if any of you were following the esports scene, there were some accusations going around, particularly in the Korean StarCraft scene, over all the esports match fixing, or some allegations that happened. So a few years later, one of the players involved is actually getting sentenced to a minor jail time. And I forget the player's name. Should have written it down. Sorry. I can probably remember it, but at the same time, if I get it wrong or it ends up sounding too like another player, I don't want to bring disrespect to that other player. Yeah. And so I've never talked about this on the show before, but I have a semi-professional StarCraft 2 background. And so, yeah, I do definitely keep up with the scene quite a bit anyway. And so what happened is, as this guy is getting, like, sentenced to, it's only a few years in jail. It's like 3 or 4. It's not too bad.
Okay. No big deal, just a couple of years.
Yeah, but the interesting thing is that this match fixing, it was less of a simple, like, win or lose, or what have you, right? It wasn't just like, oh, throw this game or whatever. They were very oddly specific requirements to get whatever. It was like, end the game by this time, by like 10 minutes or whatever. Which, if you go back and look at the games under like some of these rules and speculations for this involved player, you can kind of see all the questionable at the time decisions that he made during the game, trying to lead up to fit like one of these hyper specific requirements. And so it's just really interesting, some of the requirements. And like, so they were stuff like, okay, you know, end the game by this time, or it could be as simple as like destroy one of your opponent's bases at this point or whatever. And all these,
so it's like telling the boxer to fall by the 5th round at the first minute then, right?
It's like telling the boxer, it's like go down at the 5th left hook he throws at you in the 3rd round. It's like it'll even go down that specific. And so going into like a further like investigation into this, you know, there are a bunch of esports betting sites and everything, especially over in Korea, or even there's a huge like local scene too for that. And it's like they started like doing these little more like tiny specifications and everything, so that people who didn't want to commit big money could just commit really small money to these little details. So, yeah. So, anyway, dude who's been found guilty in it is getting sentenced right now.
Yep.
So, what do you guys think of this?
I don't follow too much of the esports, but I have seen some like Counter-Strike Go players being banned like forever from all Valve events and stuff like that. So I guess it's pretty harsh, you know. I guess even though it's a different country, it's Korea, so that's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's interesting.
Hashtag free iBuyPower. Anyway, Anthony.
As like Andrew, I don't really follow esports that much. But it's an interesting thing, depending how how bad the fixes were and whatnot.
Yeah.
I mean, jail time's a bit overrated. Maybe ban.
You really think so?
Well, I mean, technically speaking, it's making bets and winning money because you went ahead and fixed fights very specifically. And, you know, it's like, $1,000 says that this is going to happen. Oh, I'll take that bet. Oh, shoot, I just lost money.
Yeah.
It's like, in that sense, then, yeah, if they're profiting off this, and of course, then I wouldn't be surprised about jail time.
Yeah. It's like...
That's, you know... Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. Keep going.
I don't know. What I was going to say was that my history for esports, it isn't much better. My definition of esports is either EVO for the fighting games or otherwise the recent Overwatch League and watching all that drama play out. But, it would be like if I was watching Overwatch and then all of a sudden it's like, watching one team, like throw a match or two just so that they can be able to make it seem like, oh, we just won this match, but we just barely won the match. But then, it's like just trying to fix it in that kind of weird format. And, and in that sense, then, I don't know how specifically it's done because obviously there has to be a lot of details that went into it. But for the most part, I could definitely see how this could be an issue for sure.
Yeah. Examining...
Or how it played out.
Examining the culture, or it's like you put yourself in perspective of the culture that they have over in Korea or China or any other given Asian country. I'm not trying to stereotype, but that's really, it's like, it's all across Asia. It honestly is. And it's like, it's not very unreasonable to me, given what they're like over there, that this guy is doing jail time. And Andrew, you wanted to bring up, how the Counter-Strike players got banned because of, they threw a match for skins. If you go back and watch the game that they threw and everything, like, it's super obvious. It's super duper obvious that they're throwing, right? But like, you go and watch the games for the most part, and when they have these like hyper specific, specifications for completing or whatever, then it just comes off as a normal game. And it's like, honestly, if someone hadn't blew the whistle on it, they would have gone away with it because it's just a normal game.
Well, that's kind of the other thing for that as well, because, I forgot what it was specifically, but I remember that there was this one fighting tournament where you had, like, these two guys that were basically dominating everything. But at the very end of it all, during the grand finals, that one of the guys apparently just started to use an entirely different character for whatever reason. And all of a sudden he gets 0-3 at the end, so that the other guy basically won without even trying. And, in that sense, it's like, if you know that people are throwing in matches sometimes, it's painfully obvious because obviously they're not even trying. Whereas from what it sounds like for the details you're giving, that no one would have been able to figure this one out unless if you literally had that whistleblower that literally said, go back, watch the footage, and take note at what's happening here, here, and here. So,
yeah.
And in that sense, though, definitely something to go ahead and behold there for sure.
Yeah. So, kids, all the kids watching at home, this is the big takeaway from this is be smart about your match fixing. Okay?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, try not to be subtle about it. Actually, try to put some work into it. And if you think you're being subtle, be more subtle.
Yeah. And, like, the scary part about this is that this, apparently, if the leaker is to be believed and everything, who leaked all the details about match fixing, which part of it turned out to be true, part of it didn't, or whatever. Some of the accusations he made turned out to be true. Some of them didn't. But apparently, it's been going on for 20 years.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's like it goes back all the way to Brood War, the first StarCraft. Yeah, it goes back to Brood War. So it runs pretty deep, apparently. Allegedly.
That's crazy.
Allegedly. So, anyway, any last thoughts on this one?
I like to fix my PUBG matches by losing on purpose.
Right.
Missing my shots.
Fair enough.
But it looks like I'm trying.
Okay.
Well, really fast, there was one other thing I wanted to share since you just brought up PUBG, because there was one other article that I did also. I didn't feel like that this was appropriate to mention, but now that I'm thinking about it, I might as well bring it up. And it was the idea of if PUBG is esports worthy.
Oh, okay.
And the idea that, I saw you shaking your head there, but essentially the idea is like how the idea for PUBG when it first came out and how people are trying to turn it into some kind of competitive scene when really the game itself is not supposed to be set up in that kind of format, especially if, for the tournaments, if you followed those tournaments, that that the people who are coming out on top are not the ones getting the chicken dinners, that they're the people who are literally camping off in the water or off to the side or is trying to stay put and staying away from fights, because the way that you get the higher points is if you don't fight.
Right, exactly.
And that's not really something that would be engaging on esports. Like, if you're a Twitch viewer, then of course you're going to enjoy it, but then if you're turning it into a competitive scene, you're just basically watching a bush for like 10, 15 minutes on it until the guy finally decides to either start running for it or, get shot or whatever.
Yeah. It's it's going to be a really boring, 10 some odd minutes until the circle just gets small enough that, okay, now the last 4 people have to actually fight, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I mean, mind you, I don't know the full details because I'm sure anyone who's seen me talk about PUBG right now obviously kind of figures that, I play PUBG, but if you watch enough PUBG on Twitch or go ahead and see other people talking about it, you kind of more or less figure out the pattern. Like, I don't play football, but if you watch football, you kind of know how football works. And PUBG kind of works in that same format where you know how to get the higher ranks in PUBG. And while you may not be able to win a match in PUBG, if you're looking at it in a competitive sense, you don't have to win as much as it is just surviving longer than the other guy so that you get more points in comparison. It's like, that's not a good way to set up the esports for this game. That, of course, mind you, that when PUBG got made, esports was not in mind. Not like Overwatch, which was basically had the idea of esports in mind from development, but...
Which is insane to think about to me, but whatever. Anyway.
Yeah. I mean, you look at, like, Fortnite, they recently got out in front of, like, oh, our esports stuff, like, it's not ready. We're not sure how to do this yet, pretty much.
Well, no, and that's kind of the thing that I discussed in that article, too, because, as much as you could try to bash the idea, that, in the end, if you look at it, it's not ready yet.
Yeah.
It may be ready in the future once it gets developed more, but until that time, we need to stop trying to push this as a competitive game because really it doesn't work in the competitive sense because it's literally screwing out the hard workers and rewarding the guys who are just doing absolutely nothing. And that's not how you should be doing the sports.
They're just playing the game, like, they're gaming the system, which you can't blame them. I mean, this is how the rules are set up.
You can't fault them because they know how to play the game better. But then at the same time, you don't want to be like, I'm going to be a pro. Throw a controller.
Hey, if I could make some money doing that, I'll do it.
Hasn't?
Yeah, well, again, all the more reason why that I kind of was... Again, I didn't want to mention that at the start of the stream, but... thinking about now, I thought that it would be appropriate to mention that one too, especially since we were talking about esports and everything else right now, just in case.
Yeah, no, it's definitely appropriate. But so, hasn't PUBG already had at least one tournament? I think they had a showing at one of the IEMs.
They've had a couple.
Okay.
Yeah,
the thing though is that if you go ahead and look up Kotaku and PUBG tournaments, most of their articles do go ahead and point out, quote unquote, why the hell did this just happen?
Yeah.
Or something that just basically states that the winner should not have won. Yeah. That the guys who got the chicken dinners and the kills, they should be the ones being celebrated, but for some reason we're celebrating the guys who didn't do anything in comparison.
Right.
I watched a bit of one a couple weekends ago, and like there's like a water ending, right? So there's just a bunch of like people like swimming in the water, like right near the edge of the circle, just because you can't get shot, I guess, when you're in the water.
Something where the water apparently absorbs the bullets or something.
Yeah, like it doesn't.
That's a leftover thing from the Arma engine. So it's like the way it works in Arma 3 is you have not only do you have a really hard time shooting into water, but two, in order to like actually shoot your gun underwater, you need to use a specific weapon. So unless they've changed that part of the engine coding, which it doesn't sound like they have.
Well, that's the reason why a lot of people are excited for this upcoming change for PUBG and this new location. That's not only makes it smaller, but I think that there's not as much water in comparison to the main map. Therefore, that, if we were to go ahead and try to make it more competitive, at least that's one way to do it. Have smaller map, not have water so that people could just swim in it to avoid bullets, and just make it more where it's like, throw people against each other and not put it like, you're on like the west side of town and 100 miles away from the other guy. And you have to try to go ahead and find each other before you go ahead and eventually end the match.
Yeah.
Again, I don't know the specifics for PUBG. I'm far from an expert, but, I do want to see PUBG, especially, with the way that it started, it feels like that PUBG's, Steam has definitely blown out quite a bit over the course of 2017. And it would be nice to see them get back into that same status as they were around this time last year, if possible. But of course, with what Fortnite's been doing, they've basically been doing what PUBG's done and much better in some categories.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wish I liked Fortnite more.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, the whole Battle Royale thing never really sold me.
Like I said, I played it just for the survival aspect while playing with friends. I didn't even bother trying to boot it back up when the Battle Royale got added in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen Escape from Tarkov?
I've heard of this, yeah.
I really want to play it. I really want to play it.
I've heard this one, I believe is kind of pay to win, though, if I am correct. Like,
yeah, I've heard it can be. Like, you can buy the items, but there's no...
like that.
Yeah, so it's like you can buy weapons to always have them, so to speak.
But I thought if you died, you got a new character who didn't have the weapons anymore.
If you bought the weapon, like with real life money, then you'll always have the weapon. That mechanic doesn't apply.
That's better, but still kind of gross.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I don't get that. Pay to win on a battle royale. That's a bit interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
All games are going to be Battle Royale coming up here. I mean, look at Red Dead Redemption 2. Everyone's basically ready for that one to be a Battle Royale here pretty
Splinter
quick.
Cell Battle Royale. Okay, that'd be sick,
yeah.
actually. No, that'd be sick. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
You have a bunch of people like crawling on pipes and stuff over like a decently sized building.
Yeah, just like smaller. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that'd actually be sick. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I would play that game. All right. So anyway, let's move on to community questions. But before we do that, what have you guys been playing this week, Mike?
Okay, well, I will admit that ever since Monster Hunter World came out last month, it's basically had my full undivided attention day after day.
Okay.
I do play Overwatch casually from time to time, but basically, yeah, Monster Hunter World, it's basically absorbed my whole life right now. And I find myself even having way too many Monster Hunter related articles in the planning too because of it. In fact, this one that I've been working on, it seems like for the last few weeks even. So yeah, I need to get back to working too. Monster Hunter World's kind of got in my working time, and I need to stop playing if I want to stay on the team.
Okay. All right, Anthony.
Sorry, Anthony.
No, that's good.
I promise to get to work after this podcast, boss man.
Get to it or else.
Get to it, man. Okay.
I've been playing a bit of Red Faction, the original Red Faction.
Okay.
Got into that. Encountered a very serious glitch actually on the PC. First level, you're trying to escape, and you've got to drop a submarine into the water to get out of the area. So I dropped it in, and every time I dropped it in, it would explode. For
Nice.
who knows why?
Nice.
And I was reading on forums and whatever, and I'm like, it can't be the frame rate, it can't be this, it can't be that. And then I'm just spamming like escape load, escape load, escape load, escape load to try and jam it into working. And then finally it worked. And I haven't really experienced anything else on that. And also a bit of Saints Row 2, really. Just got into that. I've purchased like a game platform thing called Utomic. So it's a bit like the Xbox Game Pass, but for PC.
Okay.
So they've got around 750 games on there, mostly indies. Because they're still new, they're still in the Kickstarter.
Do they really
phase.
count? No, I'm joking.
What was that?
Nothing. Nothing.
They're still in the Kickstarter phase, so they're
Yeah.
trying to get. I believe they're an Australian company, but they should be accessible through America. But yeah, they're a good platform that you should check out. Definitely interesting. They've got all old Red Faction and stuff like that on it.
Only the hottest new
And-
titles.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Latest and greatest. All right, Andrew.
I've been playing a lot of stuff, but only like little bits of it. So
Okay.
new PC got all set up. I got this nice little, pretty decent gaming computer. It's nothing crazy.
Yeah.
So Cuphead was my first buy. That game
Really?
is
Good
so
choice.
good. So
Okay.
good. If I played that game last year, probably game of the year. Probably game.
Ooh.
Really?
I'm like
Oh,
one island
man.
in. That game just makes me smile, man. As soon as it's like, oh, it's a thriller in Manila, and I'm just like, yes, this is perfect. I love this. Like, it's a get ready for the bout, and I'm like, oh man, I love this so much.
When I played Cuphead, it only made me want to play BioShock Infinite more. So just because of the style and everything. So
Yeah.
The art direction, it basically deserved all of the rewards it got from everyone. If they was talking about the art direction, definitely, it was years in the making, and it definitely showed with all the work and determination they put in. So, I mean, I don't know if we'll ever see a sequel to Cuphead, but if this is just the one shot, I hope it gets re-released for many years to come.
Definitely.
it's like this is a game I would like to buy 5 times, not Skyrim.
Yes, this is like one of those games I would.
Oh no, I would definitely buy it again and again if it was available.
Cuphead VR confirmed, guys. You heard it here first.
Yeah.
That would be way too much work.
That'd be
Drink out of your own
scary. That'd be scary. Anyway, so this past week really haven't played that much. If I had played anything, it'd just be a couple hours of Dark Souls 3. I've been busy.
Cool.
Yeah, been busy. A little bit of Dark Souls 3, a little bit of Monster Hunter World. Slowly delving into that game. Yeah. Although,
and trust me, if you go ahead and give it a few hours, it's gonna take away more.
Yeah.
Is that on PC?
At least it's not Eve.
It's gonna be on the PC in fall, but right now it's only on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One.
Okay.
Yeah, at least
So,
it's not
you know,
Eve, Anthony. Okay.
Huh?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, at least it's not Eve. That's fair. There's some There's some alliance politics happening right now, which I don't pay attention to. And also, most of the alliance is on a deployment for war, and I have no desire. I have no desire
Whatever
to
that
fight.
is.
Dude, the game sounds so exhausting.
It is. It is.
It's the best way I would describe it is Eve isn't a game that you play; it's a lifestyle that you adopt.
Yep.
That's the
It's
best.
like going
man.
into it and having a list of chores that you got to get through. So like, do this, do that, go here.
No, I
and,
literally know what I'm doing for the first
Get some
15 minutes
monkeys.
each day I log in. The first like
Okay,
15 to
yeah.
30 minutes, I literally know exactly what I'm doing because it's the same thing
Yeah.
every time. But anyway, so yeah, it's like we're fighting some people that a lot of other people are fighting also, and I'm at the point in my Eve life, so to speak. I've played it for enough years that unless I have a personal belief or beef with the people we're fighting, I'm not gonna go participate on these week-long deployments and everything, where it's just hellish timers that you have to make for a fight and everything.
Yeah.
Oh, they needed people on at 3 in the morning last night. Yeah, it's not fun. It's not fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
Oh, good luck to him.
yeah, good luck.
Worse hell, so is EVE Online.
Yeah, and so yeah, I haven't played much of that because of those factors. But yeah, I've just been busy, as I said before. So, anyway, our Discord questions. These come from the Power Up Podcast question sections of our community Discord. If you would guys like to join that server and talk to any one of us, then go ahead and join it. You can find the link to it on cultureofgaming.com in the side panel. There's a giant join now button, and it'll automatically take you into the server from your browser.
Do it.
Yeah, do it. So
Lots of fun.
yeah, the first question comes from Left Stick, or John, as he appears on this podcast. What is the most frustrating game you've played?
Dark Souls 3.
All right.
Right there.
All right.
Are we talking about gameplay or story?
Either. Just
Okay.
either.
Dead Island.
Okay, is
like
that
that.
story or gameplay for you?
Oh, story. Definitely story. I'm
Okay.
sorry, but your inventory girl, halfway through the game, she does something so incredibly stupid that I was
Yeah.
ready to go ahead and just rage quit right there. But since I was so close to the end of the game, I just had to finish it, and that just made me hate her even more as a character. And
Okay.
not gonna lie, Dead Island is the only game I could think of that I could legitimately get pissed off at completely. Because, it was such a good game for the premise, but then, playing it, okay, this is still good, I'm still enjoying it, and then it turns into a first-person shooter, and it's like, please, no, not like this. You were supposed to allow me to, you have this bat that bashes zombies over the head. I don't need to start finding out how many times I could shoot this one person in the head before they finally decide to fall over dead.
I never used a gun. I rarely used a gun in that game, except for the boss, the end boss. I think you have
I think
to.
the ore was the best
Sounds
weapon
like
in that
The
game.
Division.
Was that Taylor?
I think the ore is the best weapon in that game. The little
The
bow
ore.
ore they can get to whack people with.
Oh no,
think
I
it's the best
love the
weapon.
melee weapons in
Yeah.
Dead Island, but as soon as it turned into the first-person shooter RPG, it just got from worse to incredibly worse, and I had to literally stomach my way to just get to the end. And as soon as I got to the end, I immediately sent it back to GameStop and said, "Give me something else."
Ugh. And then, okay, Anthony brought up a good point. It seems like Dead Island kind of suffers from the bullet spongy type thing. Like the First Division.
Well, the
Suffered
Division
with.
2 was also a bit of like that as well.
Yeah, that's what Anthony was saying.
Yeah,
Oh,
like 4
okay, yeah,
headshots
no,
and
yeah.
the person
Yeah.
would die.
That's
Yeah.
why whacking it with a hammer, breaking its arms, and that zombie's just doing that stuff.
Yeah.
That's it's
Well, he still headbutts you clear across the room if he, gets the hit in, though.
Okay.
yeah, but I don't know. I thought that was
Yeah.
for what it's
Andrew.
worth. I mean, I was a rapper stomping on people's heads.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Fair
no,
enough.
he was the
Fair enough.
character I used. I liked him. It was good.
Most frustrating. Oh man, I can't think of one that's really tilted me too much. Besides the obvious that I'm not gonna. That should not be named. But recently Resident Evil 7. That game was
Oh.
just not it for me. I remember
Yeah,
going,
ooh.
going through some sections of that game, and I was like, this is not fun. This is bad. So yeah, that game is
Fair
a
enough.
bit
Basically, a
frustrating.
game that should not have been called Resident Evil.
I mean,
Was it
I
really
don't-
received that poorly?
No, it was received well. Very
okay.
well.
Well,
Yeah,
it was a good game. It's just that for some people, the VR setting and being
Oh, okay.
constantly in the first person was kind of a turnoff. And then it stopped being a survival horror and
Yeah,
then
yeah.
just turned into another shooter as soon as you got the shotgun. as many people said. So
it was, I believe, runner-up for Game of the Year.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't
oh
have
yeah, it was still a
problem-
good game. I just didn't play because I'm not myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, there was just sections in storyline where I was like, I'm just gonna read it. I don't even care.
Whatever. Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
don't do it. All right.
Actually,
so,
I'm going to change mine to
Yeah.
Eve. Oh, Dark Souls 3 and Eve.
okay, you played like an hour of the tutorial before your PC crashed.
That's
Yeah,
at the end of the
exactly.
tutorial.
That's what killed my graphics card, actually.
I no, you played it on your processor because your graphics card was dead when you
Oh,
played it.
that's right. Yeah. That was
Yeah.
getting...
No, you don't need to blame Eve for that. No.
Yeah, I was gonna say that
Oh,
game is
come
not
on.
that.
And it does a lot of things, but that's the only thing it's innocent on.
All right. So, my answer for this got like illuminated within the past week or 2 weeks rather. There's this game. It's sometimes free on Steam. Other times it costs like $5. It's called 100% Orange Juice.
Oh, no.
Andrew and Anthony, you talked about hating Mario Party. Oh, you never play this game.
Oh, you guys hate Mario Party 2?
Yeah,
I wish
never
I was part of that podcast.
Yeah, Andrew,
Oh.
Mike, do you hate Mario Party 2?
Are
It's-
you a
the idea
defender?
of honestly, it's like all my friends want to play Mario Party. It's like, no, you do know that Mario Party legit kills friendships. So I'm watching off to the side because I know that one, I do not like the board game format at all. And yeah, I guess I'll change this from Dead Island for a sec. Because
Followed
yeah,
closely by Mario Kart and the show.
one, the boards screw me over all the time. And I
Okay.
feel like that I'm not getting anything done. Two, I always win the mini games from my friends. It's like, this is not fun for me because I'm still winning all these games, and yet it's like, it doesn't matter if I'm still 4th place because I have 100 coins and no stars. Well, 1 star because I won the most mini games, but that's nothing compared to the guy who, stole all 5 stars from me that I somehow got in another game. And it's like, why even try?
Yeah.
Did you randomly land on a green, the most green spaces? Oh, you get a star.
Great!
Yay!
Game of the year right there.
Yeah.
All right. Anywho,
You know, I
Can't
can
wait for Mario
I can,
Party 11 on Switch. It's gonna
This is
happen, and as soon
why
as
I
it
didn't
does, I'm
want to
gonna
bring it up.
rage.
This is why I did not want to bring this game up.
Okay, yeah, you know what? I can deal with like I can deal with all the Nintendo stuff, RNG manipulation or whatever, like mechanic manipulation from like Mario Kart. You know, I can deal with the blue shell. That doesn't bother me too much. I can deal with the random person getting stars in Mario Party that put them over the edge. But you know, I can deal with that. What I can't deal with in 100% Orange Juice is rolling dice to move each turn and getting ones 5 times in a row while the other AI players roll 6s 5 times in a row. So now I haven't even crossed the board once yet, and they have like 3 times, and they have all the better stuff. You know, I can't do.
Oh, dear.
Some video games are just mind-numbingly bad. Not that they're bad to play, but they could just get on your everlasting nerves.
That is the first game I've ever played where I've, like, not even Dark Souls has this honor. It's like, this is the first game I played where actually throwing my PC out the window seemed like a better idea than continuing to play the game I was in. Okay? Like, playing Dark Souls, I only ever considered throwing my controller. I wanted to throw the entire thing out when playing 100% Orange Juice, okay? I was just completely done.
I must say, though, going back to the Mario Kart thing,
Yeah.
in Mario Kart 64, there's a Wario Stadium. If
Yeah.
anyone's played it.
Yeah.
Hop.
And it's got the
100%
humps,
sick.
and you can jump over the thing. It's very frustrating for other people who can't do it.
You've done the Rainbow Road trick where you like hop off of that. and-
Yes, that's bad.
Yeah.
I used to be
Well,
pro
the
at that.
Wario Stadium he's talking about, that if you just get hit in just the right spot, you literally go back to like halfway through the stage, and it's
Yeah.
like you have to completely restart from there. And that's happened to me a few times, and it was not fun when it did happen.
Tactics.
Yeah.
It almost
It's called
targeted me
tactics.
just around that time, just so that I could be able to get hit for that.
All right. Our next question comes from Kevin. Favorite Western RPG mechanics versus JRPG, or favorite JRPG mechanics versus Western RPG? JRPG being Japanese RPG.
Yeah.
I will say one thing that I do really like about Japanese RPGs is that there's not a huge emphasis on choice, and whereas like with Western RPGs they try to set up a moral system. So Mass Effect has Paragon Renegade, and while I did really like Mass Effect system, I don't like the whole like karma system and say like Fallout. or whatever
Sure.
that they had. So there's that. So I do appreciate in games, like Final Fantasy or whatever, they don't have or it's like they don't really have a big choicey system that impacts things. So you still get the same story and the same experience, but how you choose to go through the experience is up to you. So I think that's cool.
Yeah.
So that's my answer for that.
I guess my least favorite was that a question or most favorite?
It's like,
would you like more, better, or worse?
It's like, what mechanics for each genre do you like versus what the other one has to offer?
Okay.
Everything's an RPG nowadays, but like traditionally, I guess, like the more active combat systems is what I'm into from like the mostly Western stuff. But
yeah, I agree with that too.
Yeah, like a lot of JRPGs, you get turn-based, and
yeah,
I never got into that. Maybe now, if I tried it, I'm a little more patient. I would be able to do that, but
it's kind of annoying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
Well, let's see. I guess for me, the one thing I would go to say is that, if I go to play an RPG, I'm kind of one for the stories. So in that sense alone, I'll go with the JRPGs. I admit, Persona 5, it was the best of the best in terms of the RPGs we got last year. So
yeah.
And the idea is that it's one thing to go ahead and like a story, but then it's like one that I like it to have that kind of focus as well, because I like side quests as much as the next person. But to fall back to what I said about Skyrim, that when you have like so many different things you can do off to the side on top of what you're supposed to be doing, it's like you can't keep track of all of this. Whereas if you go ahead and just keep it on straight and narrow, and then from time to time allow to diverge off the path, then I kind of like that. That sometimes the linear option is better than just being able to run off into an open world and do whatever the hell that you think you can be able to do. Whereas at least in the linear sense, you at least have some kind of path to be able to go on.
And although I am trying to contradict myself here, I do like games like Skyrim actually, where it's like you're so like optioned out on what you can do and everything with your choices also, or even in Fallout. And I know that does sound kind of contradictory, but I'm talking about more it's like impactful towards a story. But in general, like the choices in Fallout or Skyrim don't quite impact.
Yeah, because I was going to go ahead and also mention. Oh, sorry.
Because you can kind of like forge your own legend, as I like to call it, or whatever. You can really play whatever character you want. Yeah. In like Skyrim or Fallout. Anyway, what were you going to say, Mike?
What I was going to also say is that the idea of like the moral choice, because the moral choice is fun and all, but like in the end though, it's still kind of like it doesn't seem like that there's much of a difference in some cases. Like if you decided to do all good things or all bad things, essentially. Yeah. And it's like, I like the option there, but unless if it's something like Knights of the Old Republic, to where there is an actual difference between what path you take. Most times though, it seems like it doesn't matter if you are good or evil. The only thing is that if you just went down the evil path, it just seemed a little bit easier just because you were doing more despicable things to make things easier on yourself.
Yeah. All right, Anthony?
I would have to say, like, I can't really give you a favorite game of JRPG, but I would have to say that, like, as Andrew said, the turn-based combat in earlier RPGs is... I'm kind of person who sits down and it's like, this would never happen in the real world, why would this happen now, kind of thing, even though games are nothing like it, but I'm like...
How is this armor blocking the attacks on the wall?
Yeah.
Like, get one-on-one with the person, don't just be, oh, let's wait till their turn and blah, 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 so that is kind of a frustrating mechanic for me. As far as, like, favourite mechanic, I would... I would say more linear pathway as well. Like something that's more of something where you don't really have to choose and you're not really thinking, what would have happened if I had chosen this?
Yeah.
Another person who just likes to sit down and play a game without thinking.
Sure.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
I do.
Just dumb fun, I suppose.
Definitely.
My working theory is that a lot of JRPGs adopted the turn-based system because if I'm thinking of all the series that I'm thinking of properly, a lot of like older Japanese, older as in like when Final Fantasy was still super huge and like 7 and whatnot, a lot of like some of like Japan's older media, so like animes and everything, it's like all their fighting systems were, I don't want to say they kind of emulated turn-based stuff, because it wasn't until fairly recently that you saw like multiple things happening in a fight at once or something, like the characters should both be swinging their swords or whatever. If you don't look it back at like the first series of Pokemon or whatever, it's like, you know, one attacks and the other attacks or whatever. It's only during these like super duper hype moments that you get to see an attack like collide with each other or whatever. I suppose where it's like now you can go and watch a sword fight where things are dynamically happening all the time and whatnot. So that's my thoughts on it. All right, Mike, any more thoughts to give to this one?
No, pretty straightforward.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, so next question coming from David. Have you ever broken something while raging at a game?
I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if I did, but nothing that I could think of as of recent.
Okay.
I've definitely slammed some controllers before.
They never quite worked the same afterward.
I actually remember like one instance in particular where this is like 10 years ago. So I was like angry teenager. Andrew.
Yeah.
But I was playing Fight Night Round 3.
Oh man.
And that game is like like the parrying system is really weird. Like if you get parried, like your guy just like kind of like sits there like open for like a few shots. Sometimes I don't remember if it was online or if I was playing the computer, but I was just getting parried like non-stop. Like everything I threw was parry. And I was like okay at that game, right? Like I played a lot of it.
Yeah.
And I was just so pissed off. I just like slammed I think I was like sitting on like right next to my bed, and I was right there and just slammed my controller straight in the ground and like totally cracked my DualShock like on the handle. And that's like the one time I was like, well, way to go, buddy. Way to go.
I've done that, but not with that game. I did it on can't remember what game it was. It was like 5 or 6 years ago. I was actually sitting on my bed and it had like a wooden slap thing across the side. And I've got the controller and I'm like sitting there, and then I'm like, oh, this is so frustrating. And slammed it straight into the side of the bed for a massive dent in the wood, and fully like cracked the controller straight up the middle.
Oh man.
So that still works, but some of the buttons weren't the best. Did the job.
Yeah.
I think all my DualShock 3s are like broken just from time, and like I try to watch like Netflix on my PS3 and it's just like pausing on nonstop because the X button is like just broken.
Yeah. All right. I can currently look at a dent in my wall. Okay, not really a dent. Yeah, so this is back when I played StarCraft and everything. I lost a pretty important match. Let's just call it that. I lost a pretty important match, and I was kind of upset. So, you know, I just kind of threw a kick into the wall, and little tiny like dent, little tiny paint chip. Yeah.
That sounded a lot worse.
It started off big, and then he grabbed you like, no, it's a tiny. It's a paint chip.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Yeah. So.
Yeah. No, for me, I can't really say for sure if I've really done anything that big. Like I said, if I was to have broken anything, it must have been a blind rage. But usually, more times than not, like, you know, go and to say for Monster Hunter World, like, you know, you go ahead and do all these hunts, and it's like you hunted this monster down like 10, 20 times. You know how it works. You know how to avoid the attacks. But then it's like there's like those 1 or 2 moments where it's like, okay, I know how to do this. How the hell did it take me down in one hit? And, you know, more times than not, I usually either slap myself or facepalm myself hard. And, you know, if anything else, I usually take more beatings than the controllers do. Especially if I'm put out for the Elite controller on the Xbox. I don't want to damage that one.
Right, exactly. Yeah,
if that one goes down, that's going to put me out at 150. So, yeah, no, I'll go ahead and take the hits, thank you very much.
Yeah. I did repair the wall, though, anyway.
Yeah. Oh, now he tells us.
I could just see him, like, sitting there.
Yeah, no.
The story has come full circle, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. Anyway, all right. Next question up comes from Chelsea. What is your go-to game to play when you have nothing to do?
Ooh, wow.
My answer for this is Skyrim or Civ 5.
Nice.
Yeah.
I mean, I try and like if you've got a service like Xbox Game Pass or something, you try and play something different every time. But I don't really have a go-to game.
It's kind of like, or I guess maybe another way of phrasing this question is kind of like a game that you always come back to. You know?
Yeah.
I would have to say, like, the Mass Effect series, I suppose. I've played it about 3 times.
Nice. Amateur.
Or Halo.
Amateur.
Nice.
All right.
For a while, it was Street Fighter 4 for me.
Yeah.
Now that one's not as big, so with this Super Nintendo Classic that I have, it's kind of like, oh, I can just click something on and Street Fighter 2 is right there. I don't know what I want to play.
Back to it.
Play some Street Fighter 2, man. You know,
Awesome.
maybe I'll try beating it with Zangief this time. I don't know. Like I just try different things every time.
Mike.
Yeah. Honestly, it kind of varies depending on for the kind of games that I may have been. Like right now, if you were to ask me at this very moment, I would say the exact same thing I said right before we started taking questions, where it would be a little bit of Overwatch and a little bit of Monster Hunter World.
Yeah.
That, mind you, that before those games, I would have said that it would be a kind of Dynasty Warriors game, depending on which one that may be out. Like, you know, whether if it was Hyrule Warriors or One Piece Warriors, or
Hyrule Warriors.
Hey, Hyrule Warriors is a pretty good game. It's not as repetitive as the Fire Emblem Warriors. I would recommend it, and I'm going to be getting that definitive edition when it comes out here pretty quick.
Bye.
Hey,
We don't hate
See you
all
later.
Dynasty Warriors games here.
It's
so.
okay, man.
I'm going to have a lot to answer to Anthony before the end of, right after this podcast ends. As far as I see, I might as well give him as much ammo as he needs to take me down.
Have you heard of Vermintide 2?
The what?
Vermintide 2. It's a PC. Do you have PC? Play on?
I have a PC. I just don't play that much because
okay.
I don't have a good enough PC to play games on.
There's a game called Vermintide 2, and it's like got a little bit of that Dynasty Warriors where like there's tons of dudes coming at you and just whacking away at them, and it looks really satisfying.
Nice.
That's
Okay.
like Arslan Warriors, I believe, which came out quite a few years ago.
Okay, well, if anything else, I might try to check that out later. See how that plays out.
Yeah, I would check that.
All right. So, last question coming from Chelsea. What game do you want to die forever?
Dark Souls. Or Eve.
Good
Yeah.
lord. Good lord.
Full circle right there.
Yeah.
You know, as much as I don't want to state the painfully obvious, I really do think that the games like Call of Duty really do die off. That or Madden.
Oh,
Because
Madden rip.
well, no, what I mean by this, it's not that the game is bad, and I'm not hating on those who like the games, because if it has its fan base, you know, all the more power to you. I'm not going to judge you or anything. It's just that, unfortunately, for these yearly releases, I really do see nothing happening in between the games. Because really, if you think about it, what do you see? You see this big wide area, a fancy cutscene that happens like either in the middle or at the end of the game. But really, why are you getting Call of Duty for? Are you getting it for the single player? Or are you just getting it for the multiplayer that just so happens to be the exact same game as the year prior, but with new things added into it?
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm sorry, but honestly, I really do feel like that that the game stuff feel like so repetitive that nothing changes from year to year, or doesn't try to do anything new. Those games need to die off, in my opinion.
I actually think
FIFA.
I actually think it's important that Call of
FIFA
Duty
is
exists.
a little bit harder for me to make an argument against, so I'm just going to play the more safer options.
I actually think like it's important that Call of Duty exists, to be honest, because
Yeah,
like
so do I.
I may have
That's
mentioned, yeah, it's like not only is there competition, but two, it's like it provides a platform for, I don't want to say the super casual audience, but like the semi-casual audience
Yeah.
of gaming, which is a huge amount of people. Like a majority of
Well, of
gamers
course.
can be described as semi-casual, you know?
Yeah, and like I said
So-
before, if you like the series on the more power to you, it's just not my cup of tea, essentially.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you know,
Yeah.
no games are Anthony's cup of tea, apparently. So,
Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say Call of Duty, like you gotta remember, Call of Duty like innovated like basically like a first-person shooter on a controller.
Yeah, and no, when
Yeah.
it came out, obviously it did a lot of great things for the genre that had carried over to other games. But then, you know, after a while, it started to be less innovative and more, how can we recycle the same things that we've been doing?
yeah.
Sorta. Yeah.
I mean, mind you that, of course, that once you go to the future, then you go back to World War II, obviously, you could argue against me at that point. But up to that point, it was literally just, you know, we need to one-top this. We need to one-top this. We need to one-top this. Okay, let's go back to World War II.
Hey.
You know,
Okay.
it provides definitely like this like silly first-person shooter.
Again, I'm
experience.
sorry, but I just...
No, it's fine. No, it's
No,
fine.
like
it's
I'm
a
not
fair
like
opinion. It's a fair
Call of
opinion.
Duty person either, but like it just provides this like silly like I kind of want to play something that's competitive and I'm shooting things. I don't have to think all that much.
Yeah.
If I
Yeah,
don't
I'm
want
sorry. I'm the player that who peeks around the corner and gets immediately shot in the head with a sniper rifle clear across the map.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
everybody. Honestly,
me.
like that's everybody.
Not if
yeah.
you're the sniper.
Yeah, but then you're just gonna get like.
But I'm not a good sniper, so I have to be the other person now, don't I?
Get good.
Yeah, but if you're like me, I'm the dude trying to
forget being
throw
good.
a
I'll get
knife
good later.
across the room, like, and just hit people with weird knife shots and just like have fun and
Right.
you know.
You play around with it. You play around with it.
Yeah, right.
Like, it was fun in like Black Ops to go around with a ballistic knife.
Yeah, I like the tomahawk one a lot. I don't know which one.
Oh yeah, that was cool.
I would just like always have it out and just. It was great.
NW2 throwing knife life.
Yeah.
All right. So Andrew, what's your answer for this?
Man, I don't know. I don't want any games to die, right? Like I'm always like I hate to be a cop out here, but it's like don't kill something off. Let's just innovate on it.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, what game do you want to fall into a coma for a few years and then revive a few years later? Then.
Well, there is one game, but I'm not going to bring up what I want to die forever.
Well, just say like what you want to die for like a few, and for a little bit of time, or like I said, fall into a coma for a bit.
Yeah, no, I think Call of Duty would benefit from that for sure to go away for a couple of years. But there is one game that I want to die forever. I'm not going to mention its name. I've already talked about it on this podcast. It involves Mario's. It involves parties. And we're not going to go any further than that.
Idea.
All right.
So that's it.
My answer for this. My answer for this. Five Nights at Freddy's.
Oh, sure.
That can honestly. That can just go die. Like, that can get cut up into a million pieces and like, that scattered to the wind. Okay, that can die a horrible death.
The story is done, Scott. You may work on something else if you like, but please, let's not keep going back to Five Nights.
I'm upset at seeing the Game Theory channel just always upload a Five Nights at Freddy's theory or something like that.
You're upset that there's always a new Five Nights game every. It seems. I'm
upset that there's going to be a movie. I'm upset.
How many are there?
There's like 6 of them by this point.
Yeah, 6 games, a few spin-offs, and 2 novels.
I will say, I did have one positive Five Nights at Freddy's experience, but that was with a parody spin-off game that was made whose name is not appropriate for this podcast, but it was hilarious. I actually streamed the entire playthrough of it. It only took like 3 hours. So, yeah, this was a couple of years ago. So, that was definitely Game of the Year.
Cool.
Anyway.
Poor Mario Party.
Enough. We don't talk about that here.
No more Mario Party.
If it makes you feel better, Mario Party can't suffer until it decides to call back from the grave and call Mario Party Love for Switch, but that's another story for another time.
I don't like where this is going.
Nah.
No, I don't like where this is
You're
going.
the one who started with Five Nights. We're just adding on to the
Yeah.
themes of Five Nights to Mario Party.
Also, Undertale.
Really?
Even though that there's only one game.
Well, yeah, and granted, it's not as huge as it definitely was or anything. Granted, like, it's coming to the Switch. So I have a feeling it's going to flare up again.
Yeah.
It's going to flare up again, and it's like, I want that to die, too.
You bringing Five Nights made me think of, like, maybe we should just murder VR chat.
What's your beef with VR chat? It's so much fun.
There's too many people being Knuckles on VR chats. And I don't want to keep hearing the clicking in the ears.
All I know is that there's a lot of bad things said in that game.
Yeah, there are.
And I think it would be better if none of that was said at all.
Okay, fair enough.
Because it's weird as someone who works with like kids sometimes or all the time.
Yeah.
There's some kids come in and they like do that stuff in real life. Like,
no. Oh, wow.
Yes. Like people have told me that like something about the way, and I'm like,
do you know it?
I'm just like, hey, dude, like, not in front of me. Like, the memes stop now when you're in my class.
Yeah.
Like, no memes today.
Kids probably shouldn't be spewing off Uganda Knuckles stuff, you know?
Dude, and I called this kid out. I'm like, dude, that's not cool, man. And he's like, what's wrong with it? I'm like, oh boy.
And you have to explain to him, you know, like the African politics.
I would tell you, but we would both have to go down to the principal's office afterwards.
I mean, yeah, it's not even that. I mean, I have like we're doing gymnastics. I coach gymnastics, so it's like, I don't have any. It's just me out there, and I can't even fall on anybody else. I have to take it all. Yeah.
Yeah. To be fair, like, okay, Andrew kind of brings up a good point. There's definitely like an age limit, or there's an age floor for VR chat, even though it's free and it's unrated and everything. You know, it's like there's no way, say, the ESRB could rate that game because, you know, online interactions are not rated by the ESRB. That's a little disclaimer.
Well, that's kind of the current situation with gamings right now in the mass media market. But again, that's just a whole stupid discussion for another time.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Anyway, so I think that's about does it here. So this is a segment where if you have anything you wanted to say the entire show, now is your chance to say it. Mike, got anything?
No, I'm just trying to figure out how I was able to convince you guys for me to get onto the podcast in the first place.
I don't know.
But in all seriousness, though, you know, I'm glad that you guys brought me on. This has been a lot of fun, and hopefully that, you know, I'll be able to continue coming up with more fun articles and editorials for you guys to enjoy. Yeah. And, you know, if you ever have anything that you want us to also talk about, you know, feel free to go to the Discord chat, drop off some suggestions, and we'll be happy to put them out in editorial form even further if you want us to. Outside of that, though, yeah, I've had lots of fun, and I feel like I'm going to have a lot of laundry I'm going to have to clean up and when we go ahead or sign off for the day, so I'll be ready for that.
So, where can the good people find you on the internet, Mike?
Too many places, honestly.
Okay.
But I will go and say that, you know, I do have a... It has been inactive for some time now, but I have been planning on trying to get back into the video editing to go ahead and try to make more videos for myself and for Culture of Gaming, so hopefully I'll be able to get on that. Otherwise, that, you know, and I'm basically at Culture of Gaming. I do have my Twitter and Facebook and what have you, but for my Twitter, I'm MAS8705. If you want to game with me on Xbox One, that my game tag is the Master Blader. I promise that when I came up with the name, I had no idea of the double entendre because at the time when I came up with the name, I was playing Oblivion. I love playing with the sword, so I thought that calling myself the Master Blader would be lots of fun. Even though that I didn't realize until years that the double entendre would come back to bite me. I still haven't corrected it though for some reason.
That just brought so many memories of my time on Xbox back. Thank you. Okay.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right. So, Anthony, let's you got some deals for the people. We're gonna save some money.
Yeah, got some deals this week. I hope you're ready to go broke. So in the US, start off with the US every week as usual. We have a PS4 Slim 500GB console for $269 at Walmart.
Okay, pretty solid.
And we also have another deal, which is a PS4 Slim 1TB Star Wars Battlefront 2 console, plus Destiny 2, plus Titanfall 2.
Jesus, okay.
Which is $299 at the Newegg store on eBay. So you just go onto their eBay store and have a look at that one.
Awesome.
Also, we have another PS4 Slim deal, which is 500GB console bundled with Infinite Warfare and Modern Warfare Remastered at GameStop for $299. And that's all I got for PlayStation. Moving on to Xbox, we have an Xbox One S 500GB console with Minecraft Explorers Pack, Minecraft Story Mode, The Complete Adventure, Xbox Live 3 months gold membership, and another Minecraft Explorers Pack for $299.99 at GameStop.
All right.
Also, we have another Xbox One X, actually a different console, Xbox One X console bundled with Overwatch Origins Edition for $529.99.
It's on the Origins Edition, huh? Okay.
At eBay at my store, antonline.com. Apparently.
Yeah. I didn't know you owned a store. That's cool.
Wow, you know.
Yeah.
I got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
And moving on to the Nintendo Switch, we have a 32GB console on Amazon for $298.85. And another console, which is another 32GB console bundled with Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild for $359.99 at GameStop. And they have the same bundle as well, but bundled with Mario Odyssey for the same price, $359.99. Now, we have a little bit of a game segment this week for the US people watching. We have 4 PS4 games. We have Bloodborne, the Old Hunters DLC for $7.99 at Amazon.
Hey.
Axiom Verge Multiverse Edition for $19.97 at Amazon. Price matching at GameStop as well. Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen for $19.99 at Best Buy. Wipeout a Mega Collection at $23.97 for $23.97 at Amazon and GameStop, same price at GameStop. Monster Hunter World, $47.99 shipped from Newegg. Dragon Ball FighterZ Day 1 Edition, $49.99 shipped from Newegg as well. PSVR Gran Turismo Sport Bundle for $219.99 on eBay. As for Xbox, we have Akami HD for $16.06 at Amazon. Don't know about 6 cents, but anyway.
Awesome.
Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen for $19.99 at Best Buy as well. Resident Evil 7 Biohazard Deluxe Edition for $29.99 at GameStop. And Monster Hunter World for $47.99 shipped from Newegg. And also Dragon Ball FighterZ Day 1 Edition for $49.99 shipped from Newegg as well. As for the Switch, we've got a couple of Switch deals and 3DS games as well. The Bridge for $3.99 on the Switch eShop. Story of Seasons, Trio of Towns for $19.99 on the 3DS eShop. And that's all I could... actually, no, that's not it. Super Mario Odyssey Digital Edition for $48.99 at Amazon, and Kirby Star Allies for $6.99 shipped on eBay.
Wow. You guys took your
That
notes?
one
You did all
came
that?
out-
You did all
That
that?
one came out last week.
Yeah.
Haven't finished yet.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
We still have the rest of the
Moving on
world.
to Australia.
That place doesn't exist, though.
Hey, what?
That place doesn't exist, though.
Well, yeah, exactly. We're
Okay, anyway.
so what do you know?
Yeah, to reinforce the Australian illusion. Go ahead.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Got to get me acting skills on.
Yeah.
PS4 500GB D chassis console, black, at catch.com.au for 419 Australian dollars. PS4 1TB slim console at home and RV for $399. And PS4 1TB slim console with Gran Turismo Sport for $477.
Not bad.
Xbox One $649 Xbox One X console plus free Sea of Thieves. I got a bit of a tongue twister there. 1TB console from Microsoft Store, and Xbox One S FIFA 17 bundle, 500GB console with a choice of free game from $2.99 at EB Games, and also Harvey Norman is having a March Madness sale, so they've got a couple of consoles on sale and a few games as well. Now for the Switch for Australia, we've got the Nintendo Switch Joy-Con console, Neon Red plus Neon Blue from Catch.com for $4.89, I believe. Yeah, that's correct. And also Nintendo Switch Neon console plus one game for $4.89 at EB Games as well. As for the PC, moving on to PC games, we've got from Chrono.gg Speedrunners 4-pack for $7.50. It's 81% off. Steam Daily Deal Foxhole $8. They got 4.
Oh, that's what you said. Okay.
Yeah, they got.
As you were. Sorry.
As you were, yeah.
Yeah, as you were.
$8.99 ends March 19th, and Indie Gala Terralander for free on indiegala.com, and GoGo Bundle Free Arrow Plus Xeno. This one's a bit interesting. It's got like 18 games in it. Xenodyne R soundtrack, Time Swappers. Also False Shelter, Space Barrett, Alien Runner, plus the soundtrack for $1.29 from GoGo Bundle. And Gamers Gate St. Patrick's Day sale up to 95% off. And Dead in Bermuda is on Origin Access free at the moment.
Okay.
And Sega Mega Drive and Genesis Classics for $10.99, also at Origin Access as well. And also Green Man Gaming is having up to 90% off, and also we have 75% off Ubisoft games on the Humble Bundle. And that was a lengthy one, but that's all I got for this week.
All right. Is there anything you've wanted to say this entire time but haven't been able to say it?
Me?
Yeah.
Australia doesn't exist as usual.
Yeah. Okay. All
Good
right.
old acting.
So where can the good people find you, Anthony? Want to interact with you?
I'm not really on social media myself, but at the moment we're got a couple of things going on with the site. We have obviously you can follow us at YouTube at youtube.com/cog.net and twitch.com/culture of gaming. You're there right now if you're watching us. We have a Facebook, which is YouTube facebook.com/cog.net as well, and same for Twitter, twitter.com/cog.net.
So much easier with John's here.
And what else we got? on social media? I think that's about it.
We have an Instagram that no one updates. Yeah. And
Yep.
no, I think you just about got it. All right, Andrew. Anything you've wanted to say all show, but haven't been able to say it, so now's your chance to say it.
For all those white whaling fans out there, don't worry, series coming back. A little bit of a hiatus with this whole new PC thing. So I gotta still figure out how I'm gonna get this all recorded and stuff. But we're gonna make it work. We're gonna be back next week. I'm gonna beat Contra. It's gonna be fantastic. Be there, watch it, have fun.
Okay. And your handle is at Duronsky, so where can we find you with that name?
Twitter, Instagram, probably Steam if you're willing to. Like, on my new PC, you want to play with me too?
Yeah.
Steam, that'd be cool. It's Duronsky, Duronski. So yeah, hit me up on anything. I'll answer your questions. I'll have a nice little conversation with you.
All right.
Nice.
I've already said all I've wanted to say this entire show, so I done nothing for that. You can find me on Twitter at InFirstTaylor. Okay. Again, I pretty much only post Eve stuff there, so yeah. It's like I really only follow Eve people, and I'm really only followed by Eve people, so that's pretty much the little Twitter sphere that I'm in. You can of course find me doing all manner of stuff here on on Culture of Gaming's media stuff. So yeah, check me out there. Of course, be sure to join the Culture of Gaming community Discord, where you can talk to any one of us that you see on the show here. And, of course, submit questions to be answered by us on the podcast, as we do at that little end segment. And be sure to check out our sister podcast, the Retro Rumble podcast, being hosted by our own David White and a couple other dudes. Yep. It's going to be a ton of fun. Tune in tomorrow. They're doing a Google Hangout session to do it, and it'll be live streamed as well. So, yeah.
Nice.
What time was that at? Do we know?
It's at 3 p.m. UK time. So what they're doing is they're pre-recording the episode, and then it's going to be released onto YouTube and SoundCloud and all of that on the 24th, I believe.
Okay.
That was their plan.
Okay.
Also,
the first episode is actually tomorrow.
Yeah, I don't believe they're live streaming it.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, we have a giveaway that we're going to be doing next week podcast. So any questions that you submit on our Facebook forums or on our Culture of Gaming Facebook page or Twitter or our Discord forums, you can join us next week and we'll be announcing who the giveaway is. So any question that you ask guarantees you one entry into our giveaway.
Cool.
Great. So, thank you all for watching, and we will see you guys next week.